काञ्चनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीरुथापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्रीराधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna everyone, thank you so much for coming so early in the morning. I request for all of your blessings. I have no qualification to sit here and speak anything on Bhagavatam. But I request sincere prayers from all the Vaishnavas and all the scholars here to bless me so I can speak a few meaningful words, and forgive me if something doesn't make any sense. With that, we will start today's discussion. So, okay. Take this away. Sorry, I'm just trying to get used to the Zoom also. So, when Narottam Vilas Prabhu talked about possibly doing Srimad Bhagavatam, I was so excited because Srimad Bhagavatam is a very close topic to my heart, and I feel everyone should read Srimad Bhagavatam. And I want to thank Narottam Vilas Prabhu to start this and giving us a great opportunity to participate in this. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter today. Let's talk a little bit about Srimad Bhagavatam. We will see more glories of Srimad Bhagavatam in the second verse. But we all have read Bhagavad Gita. Where Bhagavad Gita ends, that's where Srimad Bhagavatam starts. So if Bhagavad Gita is an undergraduate course, Srimad Bhagavatam is graduate course. Krishna tells Arjuna in the 700th verse of Bhagavad Gita, he says that Sarva dharman parityajam mam ekam sharanam vraja. So he says that abandon all varieties. So he takes Arjuna from Karma Kanda, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and then he introduces him to Bhakti Yoga. And in the last he says, just abandon all varieties of religions and just surrender unto me. I will take care of you. I will protect you. So this is where Srimad Bhagavatam starts. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a book of devotional service to the absolute truth. So when you come to the graduate studies, the study starts with the establishment of the platform of the foundation that we all are convinced that bhakti is the path for us. And who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What is our sambandha with Him? And what is the highest goal of life? What is the highest goal of life? To be with Krishna, to serve him with love. That is our prayojana. And what we are going to see in Bhagavatam is the Abhideya. How to get to Krishna. Bhagavatam inspires us with so many beautiful historical stories of so many different devotees of the Lord and Lord's pastimes. Because we all come in different flavors. Do you all agree with that? We all come in different flavors. So somebody likes color red and somebody, the color yellow is more appealing to them, right? So Krishna wants to make sure that he attracts each and every living entity who comes in different shape, form, and their own colors. And that is why he loves us so much, he cares for us so much, that he comes from his abode and takes so many different types of incarnations and performs so many different types of leelas that we get attracted to either Bala Leela or Pauganda Leela, or when he is in Dwaraka or Shauryaveer. Whichever flavor we like, Krishna has it all for us. So with that, let's dive into Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter. There are 10 subject matters that are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Second, let me just make sure. Anybody wants to specify those? The 10 subjects that are introduced in Srimad Bhagavatam throughout. Sarga, Sarga, Visarga. What is Sarga? Sarga is the primary creation that Krishna gives in a plate to Brahmaji, right? He glances over the Prakriti and impregnates the Prakriti. And then he tells Brahmaji, okay, here, you have all the ingredients, go ahead and start creating. So what Brahmaji creates is Visarga. That's the secondary creation. Sthanam, the planetary systems, which is the maintenance of the universes and the living entities. Poshanam, protection of his devotees. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? I will protect what you have and I will provide what you lack. Uttayaha, creative impetus. The Lord is so merciful that the living entities who have turned away from him, he keeps giving them a chance to come back home, back to Godhead. So, to give that chance, he desires to create these material universes. So, sometime, he creates these universes, expands himself in so many incarnations and expansions to to maintain these universes, and then destroys them, winds them all up back into his body. Ishanukatha, science of God. We have given so many scriptures to understand the Lord and his incarnations and activities. Nirodha, winding up of the creation. Mukti, liberation. Ashraya is the shelter of the Supreme, that is the Samam Bonam. The last topic is the Ashraya, taking shelter of the ultimate absolute truth. Let's start with the first verse. Mahasundari, 1 second. This is kind of hiding my. This is hiding my slide. Is there a way to move this? Okay, I couldn't. So good. Chalega. Thank you. And ye bhi? Oh, I can just cross it up. Okay. So let's start with the first verse. A very, very important verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya yatonvayad tataras. Janmadasya yatonvayad tataras. Chartheshvabhijasvarat. Tene Brahmaridaya Adhikavaye. Muhyanti Yatsurayah. Tejo Varim Ridam Yatha Vinimayo. Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Okay. So let's get into the details of this verse. We will decipher this verse and understand it properly. So the first line says, Janma Adi Asya Yato. Primeval cause of all causes of creation, maintenance, destruction of the manifested universes. So Krishna comes, Krishna appears. Janma Adi. Janma means appearance. And you all can see it? Yes. Okay. Adi means etc. So maintenance, destruction, etc. He is the cause of all creation, maintenance and destruction. Anvayad itarascha teshu abhadnyaha. He is the direct and indirect cause of all manifestations. So how is that? He is the direct cause because everything that emanates from him is his energy. So the spiritual world is his internal energy. This material world is his external energy. And us jivas are his marginal energy. So there is nothing exists without the Lord. But then he is also indirectly involved. How is he indirectly involved? Because he never leaves Vrindavan. He is in Vrindavan with all his eternal associates, having really good time, enjoying in Goloka Vrindavan. But then he expands himself into Balaram, the first quadruple, the second quadruple, and then the Mahavishnu, and then the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, as Paramatma, residing in every atom. So we might wonder, like all these universes, like have you ever seen Earth, like have you ever heard a news where Earth like slipped a little bit from his axis? Never, right? How is that possible? The Lord can do anything. He can float the earth on the water like he did when he came as a Varahadev, or he can float the earth or so many millions of planets in the air. So that's how he is indirectly cognizant or involved in the creation. So here on this slide, you must have noted that there is a material world and spiritual world. There are the differences between the material and spiritual world. And then there is, Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy of the chief engineer analogy in his purport. He says that the chief engineer or architect, he knows every detail of his project because he is the one who designed it, and he is the one who knows the every detail and requirements of that design. So who better can know his design other than him? That is our Krishna, right? So he knows every details, but not necessarily that engineer or architect builds the building. There are so many others who work under him to build the building. So in that sense, Krishna is directly involved and indirectly involved. Let's move on. Swarat. He is independent. Achinkya Bheda Abheda Tattva is our most important philosophy. Ekatva and difference. So Krishna is in everything, but he is still outside of it. He is independent. There is nobody greater than or equal to Krishna. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. So being the cause of all causes, how do you think Brahmaji knew what to do? Krishna, within Brahmaji's heart, gave him the knowledge for everything that he needed to do. Mahyanti yat surayaha. And seeing all of this, because achintya bheda abheda tattva, we are saying we are all one with him, but then we are also individual souls. He is also independent person. We are saying that he is directly involved, but then he is indirectly involved. So seeing all of this, even the great sages or demigods, they get bewildered. Why do they get bewildered? Because we are all under the influence of Maya Devi, under the influence of three modes of material nature. Tejo Vari Midam Yatha. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. So here Vasudev is talking about mirage, right? In this material world, things look very realistic, but they are not realistic. When we are in dream, like so deep in dream, we actually feel like, sometimes I feel like I'm thinking and making a next move. It's that real. And then when you get up and then you realize, oh, that was just a dream. So imagine, I don't know if anybody knows the diameter of Earth. From Earth, we are in United States, in Texas, in Round Rock, and here in the temple. But then the Lord is sitting in Goloka and expanding himself. And like a third, fourth expansion, there are innumerable universes are coming out of the pores of his bodies. So we can imagine how big this whole thing is and how minute we are. And then our brains are so minute. And we try to fathom all of this with that little brain. Right? So, bewildered to honge hi. Vinimayo yatra tri sargo masya. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by reactions of three modes appear factual. We just talked about that. How real this feels. My Guru Maharaj always says that this world is such an amazing prison house that we have all the facilities here and nobody wants to get out. Generally, how many times we see from prison cell, if you ask, I don't have the experience, but Anybody would want to get out, right? But this is one prison house, nobody wants to get out. Krishna is giving the hand, come on, let's go, bhai. You've been here for millions of births. Let's go, it's high time. But we are so engrossed, my Guru Maharaj says that breaking the rocks of the ties, and the attachments we have. And we work so hard, but we don't want to get out of it. Dhamna svena sada nirasata kahukam. Eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from illusion. So where does Krishna live? He lives in spiritual world, which is transcendental and free from illusion. Satyam param dhimahi, I meditate on that absolute truth. So now this is the explanation given by our own Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam. But now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, for my Rasika Shrotas here, he has 5 more explanations given for this one verse. So we can imagine how important this verse is. You guys want to dive into it? Haribol. Yes.
No, my son was asking, is the class being played or it's being broadcast on Zoom? Zoom. Do you know that? Zoom. But can you call him because he can hear? I don't have my phone. He can hear as his Zoom link is in the Vaishnava Sangha group. I posted the Zoom link there. He's a Rasika Bhakti. You know,
Okay.
I'll send him the link.
It's in the Vaishnava Sangha group. The messages there. Devotees are 8-9 devotees are all.
So, meanwhile, I will just explain what is happening on the slide. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Maharaj goes in the order of the deepest meaning of this verse. So, the first one he talks about that Srimad Bhagavatam is like a lamp. Is like a lamp, like how lamp dispels the darkness. But then the lamp, बुला लो उनको यहाँ पे otherwise. Okay. So, but the lamp, depending on how big, how small, it can light up certain amount of area. But then bigger than that is the sun. Now we are comparing watermelon to maybe a pea, right? Because sun enlightens the entire world. Then we go further deep. He talks about conjugal love. He talks about the reciprocation of Krishna and the living entities. Then he goes even deeper. Even amongst the conjugal love, the highest is the love between Radha and Krishna. And then the highest, the topmost goal for us is bhakti. So he's going to explain this verse in all these different flavors. So let's start. So first explanation, the generic truth of the lamp is same as what we just saw with Srila Prabhupada's explanation. So we won't go into that one. Now the second explanation, where it is compared to the sun, which is most powerful in comparison to the lamp. So now he says, Janma Adiyasya Taha. He says, Krishna's Janma and appearance, where did it happen? Where did the Surya appear from? In the prison house of Kamsa. He appeared to Devaki and Vasudeva. And then what did he do? Direct and indirect, right? Now, Anvayad itarasya artho shvabhi jaswarat. So, he is directly and indirectly conscious, he is also independent. So, what does he do? He runs to, where does he run? To Vrindavan, right? Knowing Kamsa's intentions, he knows he is sitting in everyone's heart. So, he is directly seeing what is happening in our minds. So, knowing Kamsa's intentions, he also knows how to cheat Kamsa. What does he do? They swap. And then Durga Devi is in the prison cell. And she tells, when he tries to kill Durga Devi, nobody can kill Durga Devi. She just vanishes in the air. But she tells Kamsa that I am not the one who is going to kill you. The one who is going to kill you is already born and he is being raised somewhere else. Now Kamsa gets all frightened, right? And he's looking for that boy like crazy. He's sending demons after demons to see if this is that boy, if this is that boy. If you think, just kill them. That is what Kamsa was doing. But then at the same time, Krishna also understands the heart of his devotees in Braja. He is a complete sold out servant of his Brajavasis. He tells gopis that I don't know how to reciprocate to your love. I'm not qualified to reciprocate to your love. So this is Krishna's mood. He is sitting in everybody's heart and he is reciprocating with all of us in different ways. Let me see if I missed anything. And he is independent. He is always surrounded by Brajavasis and he stayed there until youth. So he wanted to be in Vrindavan with his associates. He is independent. He stayed there. Then Narada Muni had to do something because Krishna was like, why bhool gaye ho, aap kis liye aaye ho, right? So Narada Muni goes and tells Kamsa, like, do you know he's here and he can kill you any time. So Kamsa gets really furious and then calls Krishna Balaram to have a wrestling match in Mathura. So that's when Krishna leaves Vrindavan and goes to Mathura and then eventually to Dwarka to perform what he came from. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Now, what did I do? Sorry. No, okay. So when Krishna, we all know Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahmaji thinks that, this little boy in Braja, he shows that he is extraordinary, but I think he's an ordinary, let me test him. So what does he do? One day he steals all his cowherd friends and cows and he keeps them in one guha, I don't know the English word for it, cave, yeah. And then after 1 year he comes back and he's seeing that, hold on, what just happened? Like I took them all away, but they are all here. Then Krishna, to teach him lesson, he reveals himself. He is transferring the knowledge as who he really is. He shows the Vaikuntha opulences to the Vrajavasis sometimes, right? He showed the entire universe in his mouth to Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda like, what is this? No, that cannot be true, right? So he tells Brahma, he calls all the Brahmas from all the universes to break Brahma's pride, and he reveals himself who he is. So that's the knowledge he transferred to Brahmaji. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. He is residing in his abode Mathura Vrindavan by revealing his Swarup. He dispels the illusion of his dear devotees. He revealed his opulence to Brahmaji, his power to Indra, and the opulences of Vaikuntha in the forms to Akrura. Let's meditate on Krishna, this form of Krishna of a Satya, supreme truth, very truthful in his vows. So when Mother Devaki was carrying Krishna in her womb, all the demigods, they gathered there and they did prayers. It's called Garbha Stuti. And in that they say, you are the supreme truth, you are the Satyam. Okay, let's move on to the third explanation. So the third explanation is the conjugal rasa. This is the Adi rasa, Janma Adi Yasya. This is the Adi rasa that Krishna shares with his devotees. What is happening in this rasa? This is the topmost rasa, right? Because all the other rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, parental, right, Vatsalya, and then the conjugal, Madhurya. So Madhurya is the topmost, and all these rasas are included in that topmost rasa. What is happening in that rasa? Krishna and his devotees, the gopis, are experiencing union and separation. Union and separation. Vipralamba and Sambhoga. That is the rasa, the topmost Madhura rasa. Anvaya itarascha artheshva bijaswarat. Krishna is a Dhira Lalita. What does Dhira Lalita means? Dhira Lalita, in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 23, Srila Rupa Goswami explains 4 characteristics of Krishna. One of them is Dhira Lalita. Dhira Lalita is he who is naturally very funny, always in full youthfulness, expert in joking, and free from all anxieties. Do you all agree with this? With Krishna's character? Yes? Okay. So being Dhira Lalita, there are 3 more. Dhira Datta, Dhira Prashanta, and Dhira Dhata. So Dhira Datta is, he's grave, gentle, forgiving. We can see all this like determined, humble. We can see all this like Shurveer. We can see all of these characteristics in Krishna in his dealings with Pandavas. Make sense? Dhira Prashanta, very peaceful, forbearing, considerate, and obliging. He always gave respect to Yudhishthir Maharaj, right? He was friendly with Arjuna, and he gave elderly brotherly love to the younger brothers of Pandavas. Dhira Dhata, envious, proud, easily angered, restless, and complacent. So we can see we all have anger in me. It's the reflection of the Supreme. So he must have anger too, right? We all know in Mahabharata, in the battlefield, what happened? Krishna was so angry with Bhishma Pitama that he was ready to break his vow. He got down off the chariot and he picked up the wheel and invited the Sudarshan to kill Bhishma Pitama. But then Arjuna stopped him, so he also cooled down. So Krishna shows all these characteristics in him or rasas in him. So being Dhira Lalita, he is skillful in all things suitable for Madhurya rasa. He knows how to experience this rasa, how to make it more fun. Like ras ke beech mein se gayab ho jana, right? So making the gopis like, in separation, feel that anxiety in separation. So he is very expert at this rasa. He is independent. He is beyond this realm. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his purport, he says, he alone conveyed the truth about Adi Rasa through his mind to Bharat Muni. And from Bharat Muni, Rupa Goswami got these terminologies of all the different rasas, the primary rasas and the secondary rasas. And the other poets are always bewildered because of the illusion, because of the envy and enviousness, not having devotion in the heart, get bewildered by these pastimes of Krishna, the rasa dance. Many times it's taken very cheaply, right? And that is also why Prabhupada and Srila Vyasadeva recommends that we read Srimad Bhagavatam without envy in our heart, with all sincerity. And we start reading from Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 1, and not jump directly to the 10th canto. because we will misunderstand the Lord's pastimes. Let us meditate on Krishna, who is the original of this conjugal rasa, the highest goal. Now comes Now comes the most highly enjoyed Madhurya Ras by Radha and Krishna together. It's just the two of them. Janma adiyasya yatah anvayad itarastacha. Aspiring for the highest goal, we meditate on Radha and Krishna, from whom this rasa arises. The Madhurya rasa arises from Radha and Krishna when they are together. Krishna gave up all the other gopis and followed her alone. This is all coming from Vishnuvat Chakravarti Thakur Maharaj's commentary. So I'm going to just read it as it is. He gave up other gopis and followed her alone. He is known as Dhira Lalit, favorable for cultivating rasa. He is thus called as one who is fully knowledgeable of the chief rasas filled with Madhura rasa. And she alone remains with her lover, exhibiting herself as an independent lover. Now in this scenario, who is the Swarat here? Srimati Radharani. Because Krishna is busy collecting flowers for her. So who is the Swarat here? Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhika is compared to a lata of love, and all the gopis are compared to the flowers, leaves, twigs of this lata. And Krishna's wonderful pastimes are compared to sprinkling water on this lata, which gives nourishment and bliss to all the gopis. And therefore, the gopis experience so much bliss, more bliss, to just assist Srimati Radharani, who is serving Krishna. We all have this experience, right? When we serve selflessly to our children, to our family, we get more pleasure. We are thinking, oh, he likes this, let me make this or get this, and he or she will be very happy. And we are waiting to see that expression of happiness on their face. Okay. And the last one, bhakti. Janma adiyasyata anvayad itarasya. One, so this is the primal cause and direct, indirect, Krishna being conscious of all manifestations. So how is it related to bhakti? One who knows Bhagwan aspect, he automatically knows Brahman and Paramatma. Jnana and Dhyana Yoga are included in bhakti. So bhakti is related to what? The Bhagwan aspect of the Lord. How is this connected? It is connected to the Bhagwan aspect of the Lord. And when we are in bhakti, the Jnana Yoga, the Dhyana Yoga, they are automatically included in that. So that's how bhakti is independent. Swarata. Even for Brahman and Paramatma realization, one should have some bhakti in it. Does everyone agree with that? If you are looking for Paramatma realization, you should at least meditate on the Paramatma in your heart. Even for Brahman, just by meditating on some light and some sound, you might go to some planet, but not in Brahman. So there has to be at least a tinge of bhakti, even for Jnana Yogis and Dhyana Yogis. Bhakti Yoga was revealed by Narada Muni to Vyasa, and he asked Vyasa to glorify bhakti in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhakti is not mixed with three gunas. Now this is the bewilderment and illusion. Bhakti is not mixed with three gunas. Bhakti is beyond three gunas. So bhakti cannot be contaminated. The practitioners are contaminated. We all have so much contamination, right? So many anarthas in our heart. So the practitioner can have different perspective towards bhakti. Some might perform bhakti for some aspirations they have. But bhakti is independent. Bhakti is not contaminated. Let's meditate on the process of bhakti, which gives direct experience of bliss. Bhakti is superior to all other processes of liberation. There is no falling down from bhakti marga. Does everybody here accept that? It's like an elevator. Because in this material world, we have been playing the ladder and the snake and ladders, right? That we progress by behaving nicely, getting like all the pious credits, right? Accumulating all the pious credits by charities and so many other things. But then we commit sinful activities and we fall down. But in bhakti, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he promises us that you take up bhakti, there is no fall down. Even after taking up bhakti, if you commit any abominable activity by mistake, you just get up and start marching forward. There is just chant and again come back to bhakti. And the best part is, wherever we leave off in this lifetime, we don't lose bhakti. We catch up where we left off in the next lifetime. So that is the beauty of bhakti. And bhakti is most beneficial spiritual process, which is beyond all the gunas. So this was the first verse. How much time we have? Maybe we can zoom through the other ones. So in the second one, we will not recite the verse, but we can read, somebody can read the translation.
Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart.
Hari Bol. So this verse talks about the powers of Bhagavatam to capture the Lord in the heart. I think this summarizes this verse, isn't it? So in this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam strongly rejects the so-called dharma, or that dharma which is promoting the kama, artha, moksha, like all the materially related aspirations. And Srimad Bhagavatam accepts the parodharma. What is the parodharma? It is the dharma, a sanatan dharma for all the living entities. And what is that dharma? To perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord, right? So Bhagavatam promotes, completely rejects any other dharma than dharma of the jiva, which is to be subordinate to Krishna and his devotees. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, in the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. And because of this, people turn to religion to gain material fruits. So, Srimad Bhagavatam rejects that dharma and promotes or gives us the real definition of religion. It distinguishes the highest reality from illusion for the welfare of, and uproots the threefold miseries. What does it mean by uproots the threefold miseries? Do the miseries go away? No. Does the three gunas go away once we come in bhakti? No. The gunas are there, the miseries are there. But we have different perspective to look at them. Devotees of the Lord, we will see in all throughout the Bhagavatam, they take the miseries as mercy of the Lord. One example, Vidurji, right? When Duryodhana chastised him so much, he said, "You Sutaputra, why are you even here?" Right? What did Vidurji see? He was a minister. He could have fought back. He just saw that as Krishna's mercy. And he completely detached himself and left for forest, for self-realization. So we see so many of these examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are not stories for our entertainment. They are examples from history that Srila Vyasadeva has, jotted down for us so we can learn from it and live our lives according to that, so we can face all the misery and still keep flowing like the Ganges water that goes around the hurdles, right? Keep flowing towards Krishna. Okay, let's go on. The most beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. You all can recite after me. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukhadamrita dravasayutam Pibata bhagavata rasamalayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha Nigamakalpataro. Here. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalo. So, Nigata means Vedas. Kalpataro. Who knows what is Kalpataro? Wish, desiring trees, right? So, Vyasadeva ji is saying that the Vedas are like desire trees that gives you so many kinds of fruits, right? Now we can look at this from two different perspectives. One is from material perspective, that whatever our aspirations are, Vedas also talked about so many Vedic injunctions and sacrifices that you can perform to go to the heavenly, upgrade yourself to the heavenly planets, or even gain some material aspirations in this lifetime itself. But then spiritually speaking, the fruit of Bhagavatam also comes from this desire tree. And this fruit, you can see here, it's ripened. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Maharaj says in his commentary that this fruit is perfectly ripened. And it falls on its own. A perfectly ripened fruit falls on its own. Raw mango, can it fall? No, you have to force it, right? And the bad mango we cannot use anyways. So it has to be perfectly ripened fruit. And this fruit of Bhagavatam falls very carefully. It falls from the branch of, or the fountainhead of the tree, Sri Krishna. It falls to the branch of Brahmaji. Then it falls to the branch, you can imagine, tuk, 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 coming down, branch of Narada Muni. Then it's falling down to the branch of Vyasadeva, and then coming to the mouth of Shukadev Goswami. And then what happens to this fruit? Shukadev Goswami makes a hole in this fruit so that we all can just, when the mango is ripe, you can just press it and drink the juice, right? So he is inviting all of us to drink this nectarian juice of this ripened fruit, which is like a honey. So if I keep the bottle of honey in front of all of you and say, taste it now, would you be able to taste it? No, you have to open the bottom. We have to open up our Bhagavatam and we have to start reading with humble mood, with receptive mood, and then the nectar will flow into our heart. And then we can capture Krishna into our heart. And then Vyasadevji says, Pibata Bhagavata Rasamalayam. Keep drinking it. Until when? Continuously keep drinking it until you make it, until you are liberated. Don't stop there. Even after liberation, you keep drinking it. Shukadev Goswami is a classic example. Sukadev Goswami was liberated soul from his very birth. As soon as he got out of the womb of his mother, he left everything and he just started walking to the forest. And in that forest, Vyasadeva was running behind him, Shuka, Shuka. And who was responding to him? Only the trees, right? They were echoing. It comes in the second canto, second chapter. So, at that time, when they were walking like this, there was a pond and there were some women taking bath in that pond. When they saw Shukadev Goswami, they didn't care about anything. But as soon as behind him, when they saw Vyasadeva, they immediately started covering themselves. And Vyasadeva said, why is that? They said, because Shukadev, your son, is a liberated soul. He does not distinguish between male and female, gold and stone. He does not distinguish. And that's why when they saw Vyasadeva, he was a grahastha, right? He had attachment to his son. But whereas Shukadev Goswami had no attachments, he left immediately. And then, of course, Vyasadeva had to sing, like send somebody to sing those very famous 2 verses, which we don't have time, we could have sung them to bring Shukadev Goswami back. And then he gave the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukadev Goswami so that we all can benefit. Okay. So, moving on, now we are fast forwarding and coming to the cusp of Kali Yuga, when it was going to start. The sages, there were thousands of sages gathered in a forest called Naimisharanya. The name Naimisharanya comes from 2 reasons. One is Brahmaji created this wheel in his mind which was effulgent like sun. And that wheel was called as Naimi. And Brahmaji said, wherever this wheel falls, that place will be very beneficial for the sages and devotees to practice devotional service. So, when it fell in the Aranya, that's why the name of the place was Naimisharanya. Lord Krishna killed one demon in Naimish. Like, Naimish is a measurement of time. It's like half a second. That's how quickly the Lord killed in this Aranya. And Lord said, this will be called Naimisharanya, because he killed like in a fraction of a second. And anyone who performs sacrifices or bhakti here will have a very beautiful results. So that is why the place is called Naimisharanya. So all these sages were gathered there because they could foresee the Kali Yuga, how the Kali Yuga people are going to degrade, how they are going to have manda buddhi, alpa ayushya, right? So they were genuinely concerned about the Kali Yuga people. So they all gathered together and they decided to do 1,000-year fire sacrifice for the goodness of people in general. Even though it was inconvenience for them, but Prabhupada says that the pure devotees of the Lord are always concerned about the welfare of the others, even if it causes them inconvenience. So they gathered all there to perform this sacrifice, and they were headed by Shaunaka Rishi. And Suta Goswami, by Krishna's arrangement, also comes there. So everybody one day, after doing all the rituals in the morning, they invite Suta Goswami, who is the most respectful speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the glories of Suta Goswami, he, actually it will come in another slide. So they all very respectfully seat him on a Vyasasan, give him a seat, and very submissively request him and inquire from him 6 questions that are related to all of us for our benefit. Srila Prabhupada says in his, actually, I just want to read this. He's very, very intense about the qualifications of a speaker. I thought it would be beneficial for all of us. So he says, a Goswami who is a representative of Vyasa must follow 4 regulative principles very strictly before he can sit on Vyasasan. He not only should be freed from all such vices of the Kali Yuga, and that's why we have these 4 regulative principles, right? No meat eating, so no animal killing, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So one who is free from all vices must also be well versed in all revealed scriptures, or in the Vedas, Puranas, histories like Mahabharata and Ramayana, which are also parts of the Vedas. To hear and explain them, Shravanam and Kirtana is more important than reading them. So, we should not just read through the books. We should not just go through the scriptures. We should grow through the scriptures. We should study the scriptures. And that is why courses like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, they force us to study these scriptures in great depth. To me, actually, Bhakti Shastri should be the prerequisite even for Nama Diksha. Because samjhe to sahi who we are and what we are supposed to do. Okay. Only one who has properly grasped the transcendental knowledge from the right source by submissive hearing can properly explain the subject. So what is the qualification? That first of all we have to inquire submissively, and whoever is giving this knowledge have to also have gotten that knowledge with submission in parampara. Suta Goswami, O Suta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters coming in parampara, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and hearing them attentively. Hearing is the first sense that develops in our body. And that's why it says, right, when the baby is in the womb, that is why the mother is listening to Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the baby, that's what happened to Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni was reciting all the scriptures and knowledge to Prahlad Maharaj's mother when he was in the womb. And when Prahlad Maharaj was born, he was born as a devotee. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. I'll just read this one. Prayena alpa ayushah sabhya kalasvin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrata. We all have 4 defects, right? Propensity to commit mistakes because our senses are imperfect. We get bewildered and we have cheating propensities. And this is all the symptoms of Kali Yuga. and the three modes of material modes. So that is why the sages are requesting to Suta Goswami that these people in Kali Yuga are all going to have manda buddhi, alpa ayushya, they are all going to be quarrelsome. Srila Prabhupada says actually one very profound thing here in his purport. He says that the age of Kali is the most condemned age due to its quarrelsome features. Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. Immediately गुस्सा आ जाता है. Immediately people are like, मुझे ऐसा बोल दिया मैं. So much pride, right? False ego. Okay. So now the sages starts asking questions. First question they ask is, O Suta Goswami, please tell us about the absolute truth. We know about so many other things from the scriptures and we are satiated with it. Now what we want to know is the real substance, the absolute truth. Why do we want to know? So that the entire population can be benefited. We don't want a temporary solution anymore. We want a permanent, long-lasting solution for the people of Kali and for also ourselves. The second one, they say, is that there are so many scriptures, Vedas, Puranas, the entire Vedanta Sutra. Now, I can't remember what I ate yesterday. How would I remember so many scriptures? There are so many different kinds of paths and methods are given in so many different scriptures based on everyone's level. But do we have the intelligence and time? Our Ayushya is Alpa. It says 100, but we don't know if we are going to make it to 100. So do we have the time to understand why 1 plus 1 is 2? Or what do? We go to the math class, we put faith in the teacher, and we understand some basic foundation that they teach us, right? In the faith that, okay, what she's saying is correct, 1 plus 1 is 2, okay, fine, 1 plus 1 is 2. Similarly, the sages are saying there are so many paths given. You just compile it and give us the essence of it. Because we don't have time, we don't have intelligence to understand each scripture on our own. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, it takes years for us to finish. And there are so many other books. Srila Prabhupada so mercifully has, converted and given commentary for all of us. Even those we cannot finish in one lifetime. So forget about all of them. So the sages are saying, give us the essence of all these scriptures for the welfare of everyone. Then they say, why did Krishna appear as son and Devaki? He is not asking why he appeared to son and Devaki. They are asking why did he appear? For what reason? He is so happy spending his time in spiritual world. Why does he want to come to this material world? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? There is no work for him. There are no obligations for Krishna, right? There are no duties for Krishna. But he still comes here so that he can show us by his example, right? Krishna also followed the rituals. Krishna also followed the injunctions given in the Vedas. Why did he do those? Because to show us with his example. So he keeps coming for our benefit and also to give joy to his devotees. Sorry, they asked a question. I was not supposed to answer that. Suta Goswami was supposed to answer that. The fourth question. Describe the Purusha avatars and the Leela avatars. So, Krishna, when he comes in many forms, expansions and avatars. Some of them are empowered avatars which are in material world. Like Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada, Brahmaji, Indradev. He comes and he empowers these jivas to perform certain acts. So these are his the Leela avatars. And then he also comes himself as Lord Ramachandra, Narsinghadev, Vamanadev, as Purusha avatars. They are all coming. So in every universe, again, Krishna is directly and indirectly involved. The only time Krishna himself comes is when he comes as Krishna. All the other incarnations, they are all coming from Mahavishnu. And that's why they are Vishnu Tattvas. The only avatar, not even avatar, when Krishna comes himself, he is the Shyamasundar Tribhangi. But all the other ones who fight with the demons, they are all Vishnu avatars. So the sages says, please tell us about all Krishna's forms and activities in all his incarnations, Leela incarnations and Purusha incarnations. Did I miss anything on this one? Oh yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada says a very beautiful thing in the purport. He says that we get satiated with mundane news. Don't we say like, रोज वही news आती है, right? कोई तो मर रहा है, कोई तो bomb spot कर रहा है, कोई तो, right? We react like that. But then the Rasika devotees, who are the followers of the Supreme Truth, the Supreme Truth is magnanimous. His incarnations and activities are also magnanimous. So one cannot get satiated by hearing them again and again, and so many of them. So Prabhupada makes that distinction that the material news is static, but the spiritual news is dynamic. Because even like we see in Goloka, when Krishna is seeing Radharani, she becomes more beautiful. And seeing her more beautiful, Krishna also becomes more beautiful. And that competition keeps going on. So that's why the spiritual life is dynamic. It never gets satiated. So that's why they want to keep hearing about Harikatha. The shelter of Dharma. When Krishna appeared in this material world, especially on earth, he roamed around bare feet on Mother Earth. We are so fortunate when we go to Vrindavan, we can actually touch the bhumi that Krishna has walked on bare feet, right? Krishna had so many pastimes and activities that Krishna performed on this earth. And then when the work that he had come here for was done, Krishna left for his own abode. So what happens when the sun sets? There is darkness, right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a beautiful verse. It says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya hai andhakar, jahan Krishna taha nahi maya ra adhikar. So wherever there is Krishna, there is light, there is auspiciousness. And wherever there is no Krishna, what is Maya? That which is not, right? So whenever there is Krishna, whereas the sun is missing, that's when the andhakar is there, right? The ignorance is there. So now the sages are concerned that since Krishna, the knower of the Vedas, the compiler of the Vedas, right? Vedesya sarvar ahameva vedyo vedanta krita veda videva chaham. What is it? Yeah, that's where it ends. Sorry, we missed the first part. Sarvasya chaham ridhi sannivishto mata sarvisvatar hanam cha Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta krita veda videva chaham. So Krishna is saying that I am the compiler of the Vedas. I am to be known by the Vedas. And I am the knower of the Vedas. So, person whom the Vedas came from, now he is gone. So what is happening to the Vedas? Where have they gone to the shelter? And then Suta Goswami says that all these Vedas, Krishna has invested them into Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna has invested himself into his holy name. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, 2nd verse. Anybody wants to recite? Bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpi smaranena kalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam iha janunaguragaha. So what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying? That, oh my Lord, you have invested all your potency, all your energies into your name. And there are no hard and fast rules even to chant these names. You can chant them anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter what caste, race, color you are, right? But it is my durdavya that I still don't have taste for it. That is what. So, coming back to the verse, that Krishna has invested all the Vedas, all his potencies in Srimad Bhagavatam and his name. So, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that anybody, even if they chant unconsciously Krishna's names, or forcefully even then they will be liberated. The classic example is Ajamil. What did Ajamil do? Was he conscious of Krishna when he was dying? No, he was not. He was calling genuinely to his son whose name was Narayana. So what he did was Nama Abhas. He did not really call Krishna, it was Nama Abhas. So at that time when he was dying, Yamadutas were ready to pull his soul out of his body, and as soon as that Nama Abhas happens, Vishnudutas come on the scene, and they do not let even touch Yamadutas, the soul of Ajamila. And then there is a whole different conversation, another class. But so this is the potency of the Lord's names and Srimad Bhagavatam. With that, the sages of Naimisharanya tells or requests to Suta Goswami that you are the most qualified. You have learned all of this knowledge from so many of your gurus, including Vyasadeva and Shukadeva Goswami. So you be please the captain of our ship of Srimad Bhagavatam, who can teach us the glories and the essence of Bhagavatam and help us cross the ocean of this material existence, the Dhavagani of this material existence. Want to thank Srila Prabhupada for giving us the translations and beautiful, beautiful purports. Like some of the purports, I'm sure you all are in the same boat. They have everything highlighted. Each and every word is highlighted in the purports. So if it was not for our Srila Prabhupada, we would not have been sitting today and relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vyasadeva ki jai, Srila Shukadeva Goswami ki, Suta Goswami ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So here we start the Srimad Bhagavatam journey for ISKCON of Round Rock, and I'm very excited and looking forward to finishing it with all of you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the great opportunity.